All right, so our review for our quiz on Thursday. Remember, this is the standard form of a quadratic, and if it equals 0, you're going to have to solve it for zeros, just like we did on our last notes. So let's go ahead and do number 1. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to this? Now you want to always find out, is a equal to 1? And right here, there's no number in front, so a is equal to 1. So we're going to find the factors of 12 that add up to make 8. So what are the factors of 12? So we got 1 times 12, negative 1 times negative 12, 2 times 6, negative 2 times negative 6, 3 times 4, negative 3 times negative 4. Okay, and now we're trying to see which one of these options adds up to give us 8. All right, so the only thing that adds up to make 8 is 2 and 6. Okay, so since that's the only options, we're going to put it into two parentheses, x and x plus 2 and plus 6. Remember, that's how we do what's called factoring, and factors are equivalent. So when you say equivalent, we want you to factor, and when you factor, you're going to have these, you're going to do it this way. So the answer we end up getting is not D, but it's letter B. Okay. Number 2, even though it's started at X, you can still factor it with a Y, but the thing you have to remember is A cannot be a negative. Okay. So when you have that negative right there in front of Y, we need to do something to get rid of that negative. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor out negative 1. Okay. So that means we're going to divide everything by negative 1. Okay. I'm going to take the negative y squared plus 8y, negative 15. Everything's going to get divided by negative 1, which is going to change the sign of every term. So now I have a negative 1 out front. Negative turns into positive. Positive turns into negative. Negative turns into positive. Okay, now what I do with that is now I need to factor this, because a equals 1, right? Over here, there's no number in front of y squared in the parentheses. I need to find the factors of 15 that add up to negative 8. So 15 is going to be 1 times 15, negative 1 times negative 15. And then we have 3 times 5, negative 3 times negative 5. That's it. Now, which one of these pairs is going to add up to give us the middle term, negative 8? And it's going to have to be this. So negative 1's out front. In the parentheses, I'm going to put y instead of x because it has a y, right? And I'm going to use negative 3 and negative 5. Now, you'll notice the answer choices don't have a negative 1 out front. They just drop the 1 and just put the negative sign. So that's totally fine. Okay, the negative 1 is the same thing as just putting a negative out front. Cool. So we end up getting answer letter C. Okay, number 3, which is the following is equivalent. Now, is A equal to 1? No. So what you want to try to do is factor, find a common factor. Bless you. So what's a common factor of negative 4, positive 16, and negative 12? Or what number goes into negative 4, positive 16, and minus 12? Well, the common factor that goes into all three of these is negative 4. So I'm going to divide this by negative 4. It's going to give me x squared, because negative 4 divided by negative 4 cancels out. 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 2x. And then negative 12 divided by negative 4 is a positive 3. You can get all these numbers by dividing in your calculator. Okay. So once you've factored out that common factor, okay, you're going to end up with this trinomial. And now we want to find, is a equal 1 now? Yes. So since a right here in front of x is 1, all I got to do is find the factors of 3, positive 3, oh my bad, this was 4. I'm so sorry. The factors of positive 3 that add up to make negative 4. Okay. So what are the factors of 3? 1 times 3, negative 1 times negative 3. And which one of those add up together to give you negative 4? Well, it's going to be these two. So let's go ahead and keep that negative 4 there. Put 2 parentheses. X is on both. And then we're going to put in these two factors, minus 1, minus 3. Okay. So the best answer we're going to get is going to be letter A. Now I know that might seem backwards, like negative 3, negative 1. Ours has negative 1, negative 3. But these are commutative. They can shift. That'd be fine. But you don't want letter D because those are plus signs. That is not correct. Okay. All right, number 4. Now we are using the word solve. This is what we've been doing the last couple days. Okay. So when you see that equals 0, you know you're going to have to solve for equals 0. So I'm going to write it out here. A is 1. So I'm going to find the factor pairs of negative 8. 1 times negative 8, negative 1 times 8. 2 times negative 4, negative 2 times 4. That's it. I want to find out which one of these pairs gives me the middle term 2. That's going to be this last pair, negative 2 and positive 4. So I'm going to break this into 2 parentheses, equal to 0. Got x in the beginning, and I got minus 2 and plus 4 here. So what I'm going to do, now that I have it factored, I'm not done. When I have to solve, I need to make sure I set each of these parentheses equal to 0. So I'm going to write the x minus 2 parentheses equals 0. And then I'm going to write the x plus 4 parentheses equal to 0. Okay, so I got 2 things equal 0, and now I can solve them. So if I'm solving this one on the left, to get rid of the minus 2, I do the opposite by adding 2 to both sides. And I get x equals 2. To get rid of the plus 4 here, I subtract, and I get minus 4 on both sides. And 0 minus 4 is negative 4. So the answers I get are 2 and negative 4. Now usually the answers are put in numerical order from least to greatest. So it would, my answer set would be something like negative 4 first and then 2. Okay. So which one of these answer choices has negative 4 first and then 2? Letter A. Okay. So remember, this is how you solve. You have to factor and set each factor parentheses equal to 0. All right. And then last one, number 5. We need to solve this for x. Now, remember, it needs to equal 0, and it doesn't equal 0. So let me write this out. We are going to get this to equal 0. Okay. So on the right side, we need to get rid of these two terms. So I need to find the opposite of minus 7x and minus 6. So the opposite of minus 7x is plus 7x. do it on both sides, and this cancels out. The opposite of minus 6 is plus 6. I got to do it on both sides. On the right side, it cancels out. Since everything cancels out on the right side, it's going to be 0 on the right side. And everything on the left, none of these are like terms. So they're all just going to go next to each other. X squared plus 7x plus 6. That equals 0. So now is a equal to 1? We see that it is, since there's no coefficient. And that means we can find the factors of the c value. 6, 1 times 6, negative 1 times negative 6, 2 times 3, negative 2 times negative 3. And again, I'm trying to find which pair adds up to make this middle term 7. Okay. Now, I see 1 and 6 add up to make 7. It would be tempting for me to pick B as my answer choice, but I'm telling you, it's not B. Please remember, you need to take this and put it into the 2 parentheses, equals 0, put X on each one. Positive 1 and positive 6 go in the parentheses. Please remember, you have to set each of these equal to 0. So I'm going to set X plus 1 equal to 0. And X plus 6 equal to 0. Okay, and then I need to solve both of these equations. So to solve the left equation, to get rid of the plus 1, I need to subtract 1 from both sides. And I get X equals negative 1. And on the right side, I need to solve for X, so I get rid of the plus 6. I subtract 6 on both sides, and I get negative 6. Okay. Now, you can see these answers are not positive 1 and positive 6. They're negative 1 and negative 6. So again, B is not my answer. Letter A is my answer. Okay. Your quiz is going to be very similar to this. So please make sure you do this review, study this review, and have it for your quiz on Thursday. This is your review that we finished or worked on Wednesday.